What is up guys, Vortex here, and today I'm going to be giving you my brand new deck profile for D-Brigade. D-Brigade is a rogue strategy that has become very popular in BT09, and it is going to be my second deck of choice throughout this format. I think it has a lot of good qualities and I want to showcase them to you today. But if you are new to this channel, please do like, favourite and subscribe for more Digimon content. So, let's get straight into the deck profile. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start off with is the eggs, and with the eggs we play 4 Pagumon. This is pretty self-explanatory. The Pagumons are vital for this strategy. It just primarily reads like if a thing were to die, which is what this deck does quite a bit, you get to basically draw a card. So it plays into the Commandromons very well. Then we'll get into the main deck profile. So first of all, we're playing pretty much all the Commandromon package. First of all, it's the 2-cost Commandromon. This is just decent because having a 2-cost to memory choke your opponent is very important. And it also has 3k DP, which is actually quite a lot. Then we go on to the Commandromon from BT4. This Commandromon is very effective because it just replaces itself most of the time when it dies. Having the ability to summon a Commandromon, especially one of the higher cost Commandromons from your deck, is very good. And this is the one that we primarily want to see the most of. And then we'll go to the blocker Commandromon. This is very effective. Getting this off the on deletion Commandromon from BT4 is actually quite powerful, just because you swing and then you gain a blocker from it, and blockers are a pretty expensive keyword in the game. So yeah, we play 4 of it, and to finish the Commandromon stuff off, we play 4 of the 5k DP ones. This is your main beater, obviously. They're all main beaters, but this one survives a lot of things. It survives level 3s primarily, and it can also survive some level 4s. And yeah, we max out on all of these because we play obviously Dark Dramon, and we need to get these either in play most of the time or in the discard. So that's the Commandromon stuff, but we are still playing more level 3s. This is a new one that we're actually playing in the deck. It's Chikurimon. Chikurimon is actually really powerful in this current format. A lot of decks tend to go into X antibodies to get to their final boss monster, which does a lot. And so when they swing at security for their OTK turn, because primarily every deck OTKs in this format, they get to de-digivolve, and that means they lose primarily like a lot of their abilities. For example, Metal Garurumon X then can't, unsuspend itself to become, so you can return a guy of the lowest cost. War Greymon means that you can't gain memory, and you also can't, primarily gain memory, that is. And then with like Oriken, Alphamon, it stops a lot of things, and so seeing this in security is very powerful to say the least. So we play 4 of that, and then to finish off our level 3 line we play Hagurumon. Previously we'd play 4 of this, but now that you have a few more targets that aren't machine or cyborgs, you kind of cut down the number. So it's still very good, obviously, having the ability to trash a machine or cyborg to draw 2. Allows you to fuel up Dark Dramon, other things as well. So we still play it as draw support in this deck, because this deck really does need draw support. Then we get onto the level 4s, and there isn't many level 4s in this deck. The main one is actually this guy, Grumblemon. This is not a new addition, but you tend to play this a lot more now, just due to the fact that this deck plays a lot of Tamers. So it's kind of like the Aguni, all that kind of stuff, but it's for black. And the ability to just digivolve on top of a Tamer and swing for game is always going to be powerful in this game. So we played 2 of it as an ender. The final level 4 that we play is 2 Seals Dramon. Seals Dramon could have been a 4 of in this deck, maybe a set ago, but nowadays you don't even really want to see this card. It doesn't do enough, to say the least, because if you're going into this, that means you're not swinging, and if you're not swinging at security, you're not winning the game. So we only played 2 of it now, but it's always nice to have another blocker in the deck. Then we get onto level 6s. So we don't play any level 5s in this deck because the D-Brigade level 5s are bad. So we just play the level 6, and the level 6 in this deck is Dark Dramon. This is your main win condition most of the time. It's a guy that you can play for effectively free cost, but its play cost is 13, so it does get screwed over by some of the level 3 rookies that stop memory gain. But this guy just says, on play, return up to 5 cards with D-Brigade in their types from your trash to the top of your deck. And if you do, you gain 2 memory for each one you return. The actual important thing is that it says at the top of the deck. So this allows you to potentially stack plays with other cards in the deck, primarily the on deletion command Dramon, so that you can swing with that and get a guaranteed command Dramon. But having a guy that costs 3 effectively, because you're always going to be returning 5 and then swinging on that turn, yeah, we have to play 4 of it in this deck. And we have enough targets for it as well in the deck. The main reason why this deck actually became very powerful all of a sudden is the inclusion of Death X Mon. Death X Mon is one of the new secrets of BT09, and I would say this deck really uses it the most. The deck itself is primarily early rush down, don't really have a hard focus on late game, but this card acts as a rush card in this deck because it reduces its cost, its memory cost by 3 for each Digimon and Tamer your opponent has in play. So it just basically means you can get this low to as, you know, like very low memory basically. We can also de-digivolve onto it, or digivolve onto it through the the Seals Dark Dramon. Let me do that again. You can also just digivolve into this from the Dark Dramon, and you also get the when digivolving effect. And that's what's powerful about this card. You have it's on play and when digivolving, de-digivolve 1 all of your Digimon, all your opponent's Digimon. So yeah, and then delete all your opponent's level 4 or lower. So yeah, I mean it's obviously very powerful, and it has a nice place in this deck. Okay, and now we get onto the Tamers, and this is where I think this is where the deck really showed its power in EX02, because we have a new Tamer called Kazu. So Kazu is very strong in this deck because it's a free play cost, so it's got to have a really good upside to it, and it plays into the D-Brigade strategy very well. It just says at the start of your main phase, so you can promote from your egg pile, so you can get the memory that way. But it's just if you have a Digimon with Cyborg or Machine in its traits in play, you just gain 1 memory. And so when you have like multiple of these out, they become very powerful because it just means that they stack, gain 3 memory. They almost act potentially in a set to 3 Tamer. The other important effect is on all turns, when one of your Digimon with Cyborg or Machine in its traits becomes suspended, you may suspend this Tamer to draw 1 and then trash 1 card. So you can see why this is powerful. This has obvious synergy with Dark Dramon in the deck. It also allows you to cycle through your deck, which is something that this deck obviously needs to keep itself consistent to find its level 3s. So this is an instant 4 of in this deck in my opinion. I've seen lists that play it at 2, I've seen lists that play it at 3. I think 4 is the most, it's just one of the best cards in the deck, quite frankly. Then we'll have the other Tamers. So I'm playing 2 Izzy Azumi and 2 Izzy and Joe. Sometimes we just need a lot of memory, quite frankly, in this deck. And having these Tamers out in play is actually also very controlling, because in this format, if you tend to give your opponent more than 5 or 6 memory, it's basically game. And having a turn, because you find your Dark Dramons very often in this deck, where you can summon 2 Dark Dramons and maybe like a Grumblemon from one of your Tamers, it's insane, quite frankly. Izzy is very important because every card in this deck is black, so it's always going to be a free cost Tamer. And then with Izzy and Joe, it just means that if you have 2 Digimon in play, just gain 2 memory. So they'll usually have 2 Digimon in play anyways. And then we get on to the options, and for the start we're playing 2 Congo. Congo is insane. I don't know what they were thinking when they were making this card, but it's a 2 cost, so very cheap to do, but it just says until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent with Digimon in play, Digimon with play cost 7 or less can't attack players and can't be added to security stacks by your opponent's effects. So what does this do, right? It basically forces you to have a high cost Digimon, a level 6 or a very expensive level 5 Digimon in play to attack, but it also stops effects like Magna Angemon and other things. So yeah, I mean, it's a stop button for your opponent mainly. So we played 2 of that. Then we play 2 Pride Memory Boost. Memory is obviously very important in this deck, and Pride Memory Boost is really good support for this deck. Basically, it just says reveal top 3 cards of your deck, and you may play a black Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less among them without paying the memory cost, and then trash the remaining cards. That's the most important part about this card. If you trash some really good D-Brigade cards just so you can get your Dark Dramon in there, it just speeds up your OTK much more quicker, basically. And also having the ability to play stuff like the on deletion Commandramon, the blocker Commandramon, the Hagurumon, which then gets its on play effect. Yeah, this card's really good. The only reason why we don't play more of it is because it is 4 cost, and 4 cost in a rush strategy is rather expensive. So we tend to do this at the end of an opponent's, or at the end of your turn, so that you can set up the memory as well. So we play 2 of that. And then to finish it off, we play 2 Ultimate Flare and 2 Iron Fisted Onslaught. They all have different reasons, but some cards in the format just can just be outright deleted with effects, but some of them have conditions where it can't be deleted by effects, so it has to be de-digivolved by an effect. And yeah, these cards are just primarily here just to basically stop your opponent from going for an OTK massive push turn, basically. And it's rather effective, to say the least. These cards come up quite a lot, but at the moment I think there could be a case where you play more Ultimate Flare than Iron Fisted Onslaught. Maybe in the future, for example, if you see more, what's a good example? If you see more Metal Garurumon, maybe Iron Fisted Onslaught will be better because it doesn't have protection from deletion, it's just from battle. Whereas with this one, I think this one's just like more generically useful because it stops a lot more, but that's the ratio at the moment so far. Anyways, that has been my D-Brigade deck profile. I think it's going very well so far. From a lot of play testing, it's been winning me quite a few games. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think I should add some more things? Do you think I should experiment with certain cards? please let me know. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.